This is Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Vitalico, Ben Davis, Ruben Amaro Jr., Tom McCarthy in New York. I'm Michael Barkan. I wish I had answers. I don't have answers. We can see the Phillies don't have any answers. 6-2 in Game 1, 7-2 in Game 3. That's a combined 13-4 in the losses if you're doing the math. This series is not over, certainly. Maybe the Phillies tie it up tomorrow night. I would tend to doubt that that's going to happen. They have struggled at the plate. They have struggled with the relief pitching. They struggled a little bit tonight, certainly, with Aaron Nola. He deserved a better fate. Maybe Rob Thomson might have had a quicker trigger. So I don't know. The only thing I'll say as I toss it to Ricky, Bo, and Ben and Ruben is they were 62-34 going into the All-Star break. They were kicking butt going out of the break and to the end of the season, 33-32. Maybe they're just not that good. Maybe they're just not the team we thought they were.
How about 5 stinking hits? Is that going to do anything for you? Seriously.
No, it's not.
I mean, I hear everybody on Twitter out there, go ahead, blasting off on Aaron Nola. At the time they were blasting off, the Phillies had 2 hits. Mm-hmm. You know what? The offense stinks right now. The offense hasn't gotten anything going right now. As a matter of fact, the Mets bullpen was trying to gift them in the 8th inning there, and they did end up scoring a run. So that's one good thing. They scored a run late. Woo, man. Pretty happy about that, yeah. But I mean, as far as Aaron Nola goes, I thought he was very good through the 5. He got out there in the 6th inning and he kind of started losing location. He had a big dip in velocity too, both on his 2-seam and his 4-seam fastballs. So I was getting a little nervous there in that 6th inning, anyways. But I mean, you're getting beat by a team that wants it more right now.
Ben, what's your view of this?
I could not agree with Ricky more. This team just seems like they're disinterested at times offensively. You look at this Mets ball club, they had 6 2-out RBIs tonight. Out of their 7 runs, they had 6 2-out RBIs. These guys bear down, they put balls in play, and it just seemed like they get the job done. They just keep passing the baton like we saw the Phillies do on Sunday, unable to do that today. But 5 hits for a lineup that is supposed to be star-studded and is at times, we've seen it throughout the course of the last couple seasons, just not getting it done today. And this bullpen needs to figure it out quickly.
Ruben, it almost looked like the Mets knew what the pen was throwing. I can't speak for Nola, but it was that uncanny. This bullpen has been one of the strengths of the Phillies team this season.
Yeah, it's not just the bullpen. There's a lot of things to unpack here, Michael. I mean, we're talking about a team that is really getting outplayed. This is a team, the New York Mets, who have played tremendous baseball for the second half of the season, maybe 3 months or so. They're just playing better baseball and figuring out ways to win games. The Phillies are not figuring out ways to win games. There's a couple of things that are happening here. First of all, you don't support Aaron Nola all that much offensively. And when you're in a situation where you're a starting pitcher and you have to make every pitch perfectly, every single time you face a hitter and you can't make any mistakes, that makes it very difficult. This is a team that was built to slug, to hit, to score runs. And you can give as much credit as you want to Sean Manaea, but they did not have quality at bats. They didn't try to put runs or swings or at bats together consistently, and they just couldn't get something done. It's unfortunate that that I felt, and I never ever questioned Rob Thomson, but I really felt at the after the 5th inning, if Aaron Nola was going to start, that's one of those innings in the 6th when your stuff starts to go backwards. He left him in there a little bit too long, I felt, and then he left Alvarado in there for a while. And I thought that was 2 situations where he probably could have gotten a couple of pitchers out a little bit earlier to give themselves a little bit better chance. That said, you get 5 hits against this team, you're not going to win a ball game unless 5 of them are home runs, and they have not been slugging.
You know what, Michael? This is it in a nutshell. In the bottom of the 6th, the Mets battled their tails off and put up 2 runs. The Phillies come out in the top of the 7th. They made 3 outs on 7 pitches. That is the offense in a nutshell right now, and it's very frustrating to watch for us.
3 outs on 7 pitches, and we haven't even started in on Alec Bohm.
I'm going to start in right now on him.
Wait, hang on.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Seriously, I mean, this guy had 4 at-bats tonight. He came into this with 6 at-bats and 10 pitches, right? Is that what he came in with? Well, tonight it got a lot better. He ended up with 4 at-bats tonight. He did get a hit and got thrown out at second base, but he had 5 pitches he saw tonight.
2, 1, 1, and 1.
Are you kidding me? I can't play him tomorrow. I cannot. I am not playing him tomorrow.
Also, you're at the point now that there's a young player like this come back from, this was a legacy game of sorts. We're looking at Alec Boehm. He was benched for game number 2. He comes back, and we thought maybe that breather would do him some good, give him some perspective, make him see the error of his ways. He comes back. 2 pitches on the first one, and he gets a single, tries to in vain stretch it into a double. I don't know why.
And don't forget,
and then
blaming it on something or someone in the dugout.
Yeah. Well, he gets that look on his face, honest to goodness, with this pout that looks like he's going to cry. You can't have that in a there's no crying in baseball. When you look at the Phillies bats, Schwarber 0 for 2. By the way, that Schwarber home run in game number 1, that's the only run the Phillies have before the 6th inning in this series. So they're getting runs, not enough, but too little too late as well when they do score them. Turner has a hit early. Harper 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Castellanos 1 for 4. Boehm with the 1. Really, I would go 0 for 4 because he tries to stretch that single into a double. I don't know why. JT 0 for 3. JT's got an hit.
You don't know why. That ball was hit 394 feet. He should be able to get a double on that ball.
Guess what? He didn't do it.
No, he didn't.
How about JT Realmuto 0 for 3? He's 0 for 9 in the series. And the bottom half, up and down the lineup, is struggling to hit.
It really has struggled. And one of the things that is sort of shocking, and it tells you a pretty big story about this team. In the early part of the season, they were scoring runs in the first couple of innings in droves. I mean, they were putting teams away early in the game, and then they kept pounding on them and beating them up. In the last half of the season, they have not scored early runs at all. And that puts a ton of pressure on your starting pitching. When you get runs as a starting pitcher, you relax, you throw strikes, you go after guys, and it makes the other team a little bit more panicky to try to catch up. But that's not happening as of late, and it's certainly not happening in this series. They have to put some pressure on the starting pitcher so that they can knock them out and get into the pen, because the Mets pen really is vulnerable, and they're not doing that. They're not creating runs early in the game to try to give your starting pitcher an opportunity to settle in and get rolling, and that's a really big difference in this team.
And then when they potentially have Sean Manaea on the ropes, they squander that chance.
To get some runs, maybe make the game close. They go to the bottom half of that inning, you're sitting there with bases loaded and nobody out, and Kirkering comes in, gets 2 outs, and what do the Mets do with 2 outs? Grind out in that bat.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about Sean Manaea's arm slot? Because Tom McCarthy brought it up in the pregame program. He talked about that three-quarter arm, three-quarter motion, and how that has been problematic. He got it from Chris Sale. He had changed his whole throwing motion, and it's really hurt the Phillies.
No, it's certainly. I mean, he's become a much better pitcher. I mean, there's no question about it. His numbers, and we talked about it in the open, that this is a guy that it's amazing to me that and quite remarkable that for a guy who's played like 9 years in the big leagues, watches another pitcher on another club, in Chris Sale. He changes in the middle of a season after struggling a little while. He changes his arm angle and decides he's going to just drop down. And a couple things could happen. One, you may not be able to throw a strike from down there. And 2, for him to change the mechanics of his whole delivery is amazing. He just reeled off 12 unbelievable starts after that. His ERA was right around a 3. I guess his whip was down under 1. He really dealt, and it's really become a struggle for the Phillies.
And it's really tough for the left-handers because, he's out on the mound. First of all, he's a big guy, but he is so crossfire. So what I mean by crossfires is if he's looking at you straight on, he's stepping over here, and the pitch is coming behind you. It's coming behind you as a left-handed hitter. So it's almost like the ball's going away from you, from really west to east. And that is not comfortable for left-handed hitter. I was very fortunate. Ruben and I were both fortunate to be switch hitters, so that ball was always coming into us. But if you're lefty on lefty and you see that crossfire action, it is difficult to really see.
The Phillies actually went so far as to move the pitching machine over during BP to reflect that. It obviously didn't work. To the clubhouse, let's listen to Nick Castellanos postgame.
Trying to obviously bring it back to Philly. Backs are against the wall. What's the pressure like? What's the feeling here tonight?
Well, as a group, this is the closest to death we're ever going to get. So in a way, we should feel the most alive. We're only promised tomorrow, and this is what we've been working since spring training for, to have this opportunity. And it's just one more time to show out and leave everything on the field, and however the dice is going to land, it's going to land.
What is your mental approach in terms of trying to flush this one, if that is the approach, and get ready for that backs against the wall mentality tomorrow?
I think it's, instead of just flushing it and forgetting it, I think right now it's really important to embrace what the situation is. We lose, we're going home. Baseball's over for us. And, it's a great opportunity, because if we're able to come in and scrape out a win here, I know that they do not want to go back to Philly for a Game 5.
Is that something you guys will actually verbally talk about, on the bus going back to the hotel tonight, or is that just something you think is understood amongst each of you guys?
Rob came in, said some quick words to the team. All good stuff. But I think just it's going to be more talked about as we spend time together, whatever form that comes about. I'm sure that our conversations aren't going to be about fluff for the next however many hours we have until the start of this next game.
And the line out there in the sixth, just total disbelief on your part? That
Disbelief, no, because baseball is that game, right? More just like, shit, I can't believe that happened.
You can't hit it anymore on the screws than that.
Which one?
The one in the sixth.
He threw me a good changeup away. I stayed on it. I barreled it a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, first and third. Run scores, first and third, however it is. It's a different situation.
Nick, we've seen Ranger pitch a lot of big games over the last couple postseasons. How confident do you feel playing behind him tomorrow?
All the confidence in the world.
Thank you, Nick. Good luck.
Nick Castellanos, all the confidence in the world. And he says right off the bat, this is as close to death as we're ever going to get as a group. So in a way, it should make us feel more alive. What do you think?
I wouldn't have made that comment.
Okay. All right, that's one. Ben likes it.
I think it's actually accurate.
Really?
Spot on.
I do, because
Spot on.
it's the facts. If they lose tomorrow, their season is dead. It's over. I thought it was spot on.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was spot on too. This is
I
sort of
took it
how
a
he
little
thinks.
too literally, I guess.
He's a different kind of a cat, man. These are the things that sort of motivate him, And this is how he gets motivated. He feels like, hey, as a group, we're done after tomorrow, so we got to kick it in gear. And so I think that's the mindset, and I don't have a problem with that at all.
Also, he seemed very confident and spoke with conviction about his belief that the Mets want no part of a Game 5.
They don't. They don't. That's why I keep saying the Phillies in 5. But right now, I'm not really believing it after what I saw tonight. I will say this much. If you are to beat the Mets, in my eyes, it's a one-game series. It's not a two-game series left for the Phillies. It's a one-game series. You win that game tomorrow, you're going to win at home. Yeah. I truly believe that. I don't think any team really wants to come in here for a deciding game.
Yeah.
You come into here, it's like, all right, I'm not going to be able to hear for the next 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Is this the place I really want to go and play baseball? They're going to try to pull out all the stops tomorrow, the Mets, to win that game. But, in my eyes, for the Phillies, it's like stay within 2 runs, because that Mets bullpen stinks. Mm-hmm. They stink.
Yeah. They already lost Game 1 with Zach Wheeler at home. I'm sure they'll take the Game 5.
Well, believe me, I don't think that team wants to face Zach Wheeler in Philadelphia in Game 5, and I truly believe that. And I think you're right, Ricky. I think they're going to do everything they possibly can to win the game tomorrow. With Quintana on the mound, who's actually pitched pretty well against them, the Phillies are going to have to make adjustments. Now, the Phillies have been the most resilient team in the history of baseball, as far as I'm concerned, over the last several years. And I would not be surprised at all if they turn it around and get it done. But they have to commit to it. They have to commit to solid at bats. They have to keep the game rolling. They got to pass the baton and do all the things that are necessary to stay in this thing.
Yeah, it's just a matter of starting pitching. Ranger Suarez on the mound tomorrow. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. Bryce Harper in the clubhouse post-game.
Is it to not do it today? And it's, had a couple games like that now.
Yeah, I thought Mania threw the ball really well. I think he's been throwing the ball really well. It's late, so he got us today, beat us. Obviously, we had some situations, me personally as well, didn't come through and didn't let it happen. So just got to go get him tomorrow.
How frustrating was that bat there in the 6th inning in terms of where you're looking for something in a certain spot and didn't get it, or too
No.
aggressive?
No, I mean, he just made some good pitches. First pitch changeup, thought it was a really good pitch to hit, and then threw me 2 banger sliders. So
How does the mentality shift when you know tomorrow is a win or go home?
just gotta win. I think we've done that all year, so just gotta go out there, get Quintana, and win a game.
Ranger's been a really good playoff pitcher for you guys. He hasn't pitched well lately. He hasn't pitched much lately. What's your team mindset behind Ranger going in tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, all the confidence in the world in him. Obviously, we got to win, so we expect the best out of him tomorrow. Expect the best out of our bullpen, and expect the best out of our offense as well. So, got to go out there and plug some hits along, get some runs up there, and let Ranger do his job.
Do you guys have to remind yourselves that the narrative can change quick this time of year? If you win tomorrow, you're back home with Wheeler on the mound for Game 5.
We just got to win tomorrow. We don't want to look ahead or do any of that. It's a really good team over there. Quintana's had a great year, so just got to win tomorrow.
How important was it for them to get that early lead today?
I mean, in this series, I don't necessarily think it's huge. Obviously they scored a little bit more than we kind of bite off or chew back. But I don't playoff baseball's so crazy, man. I don't think it really matters 1-0, 2-0, or anything like that.
The first inning, you guys hit like 3 balls on the screws, all for outs. Are you sitting there at that moment thinking that's a good sign, or are you sitting there thinking, oh no, that's not good luck?
I mean, obviously, whenever you take good swings, you get out. It's kind of the way of the game sometimes. But when you take those 3 swings, you're thinking, hey, we got a chance today to go out there and do some damage. But obviously, Manaya, he went out there and threw a great game. Tip of cap.
The third inning at bat, it looked like you just missed that 0-1 pitch.
I mean, just miss or not miss. I mean, I just didn't get the job done.
Sean Manaya, he has been very, very good. He was devastating to Phillies hitting tonight. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, not a run allowed, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, 91 pitches, 12 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, and 2 starts this postseason. The guy's been absolutely amazing, and Ruben and the gang were talking about how he switched from 3/4 arm to almost sidearm. The Phillies try to mimic that with the pitching machine in batting practice. I'm assuming they did it,
that's not easy to do. I actually tried doing it towards the end of my career. Like, I could do it in the bullpen. I'd get on the mound, and my arm would go straight up to the L. I'm like, I don't know how people do it, because in your mindset you're thinking, I won't be able to throw strikes. I can't throw from down there, and your arm just rises up itself.
And he changed his game plan for today. We talked about it in the pregame show how in his last outing back in September, he threw 67% sinkers to his Phillies. Tonight, he only threw 41% sinkers. And he was throwing that sweeper a lot more and getting a lot more swings and misses. He was back-footing that sweeper because he was trying to speed these guys up inside with the fastball. He was doing that, and then they weren't recognizing spin and swinging over a lot of sweepers. So tip your cap to him for changing that game plan, because it really worked tonight.
Same time, as you noted, Ben, they did not look at pitches. They were just swinging, and whether it's Bohm or Harper with 3 straight pitches. And that's tough when you're not.
He threw 91 pitches through 7 innings. He very well could have gone out there and pitched the 8th inning. In my opinion, he could have gone out there and dominated in the 8th inning as well and saved a couple guys in that bullpen.
Wonder what Rob Thomson has to say post-game. Here he is at Citi Field.
Rob, your offense has only scored 2 runs, I think, in the first 5 innings of each of these games. Again, tonight, not till late in the game. How much has that really hurt the sort of momentum and the start of these games?
Yeah, it's tough to get down early, but we got to fight. I thought our bats early in the game were okay. We hit 3 balls right on the nose in the first inning. Just that didn't have anything to show for it. And then as the game rolls along, I think at some point guys try to do a little bit too much, and we just need to stay with our approach and pass the baton. That's what we always talk about, and just have good at bats.
Okay, down here in the front on the right.
Yeah, Rob, you guys over the last couple of years have been a team that really grinds pitchers, gets a lot of pitches. You've been having a lot of short innings. What do you think has kind of led to that?
Well, yeah, sometimes it's about chase in certain games, but sometimes it's the fact that guys are throwing strikes, and you need to get good pitches that you want and use the middle of the diamond. That's what I always talk about. And again, try not to do too much.
Stay here on the right, Corey, in the middle.
Do you say anything in particular to the guys after a night like this, leading into tomorrow? Or?
Well, I know it got out that I had spoken to the team, and basically it's just very simple. You come in here tomorrow. And I told them it's the most resilient club I've ever been around. It's what they're all about. They're all about toughness and fighting and playing together, and that's what we need to do, and just focus on one game.
The sixth inning tonight, you got the first two guys on, still a close game there. Did that feel like the chance there with the middle of the order coming up?
Yeah, and Schwarber gets doubled off the line drive. Casti hits the ball right on the nose and right at somebody. So, yeah, I thought that was possibly an opportunity to get back in it.
Would you have Wheeler available out of the bullpen tomorrow?
I think everybody's available tomorrow.
We're going to stay here on the right in front.
Rob, what did you make of Austin Hayes' at bats tonight, and is there any chance Wilson's in there tomorrow?
Yeah, we got to talk about it tonight. But yeah, he looked a little rusty and a little off balance. Timing was off a little bit, but we'll talk about lineup later.
Okay, we're going to go right then next to you and stay here. Yep.
Rob, beyond the hitting and so forth, what do you think about your bullpen right now?
Yeah, it's they're putting good at bats against them. I don't think we're executing pitches. To tell you the truth, I thought Alvarado was good until he got hit in the foot. He said it didn't bother him, but who knows? But yeah, they're putting good at bats against our bullpen. That's for sure.
Okay, we're going to go back to Matt in the back there, on the right.
That sixth inning, that at bat from Bryce, did you think that was an uncharacteristic 3 pitches there for him swinging?
Yeah, I think that's just a situation where he's trying to do too much. Trying to get put the club on his shoulders, and again, it's about passing the baton and relying on your teammates.
Okay, anything else for Rob? Okay, Matt, one more.
What Nola ended up facing Alonso there for the third time. What made you want to stick with him there, and why do you think he just lost his command there in the sixth?
I don't know. It's a good question. But I thought his stuff was still good. Velocity was still good. I know he'd walked Nimmo, the hitter, before, but I felt like we had a chance there to get a double play ball out of Alonso, and I thought probably Nola was the best guy to get it.
One more? Yeah. Go to Matt again.
Does Sosa turn it? Do you guys turn a double play there if Sosa fields that ball clean?
Good question. I'm not really sure. I didn't look at the overhead. Possibly.
Okay. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Rob Thomson asked about Aaron Nola, the home run he gave up to Pete Alonso. It should be noted that coming into tonight's game, Alonso versus Nola, .320 batting average, 16 for 50, and 5 home runs, now 6 home runs. And then there was the Winker home run as well. And this has plagued Aaron Nola over the past couple of seasons, where he cannot keep the ball in the park throughout a start.
Well, Winker almost had one in, I believe, the first inning. He had a pretty good swing on it, and he hit one to the track, and then he threw him another fastball, and what'd he do? He hits out of the ballpark. You know what? How about trying something else? How about trying a ball down and away? Oh, pitch him away, play him away. Let's make it simple. I don't know.
The thing is, the solo home runs aren't going to kill you all the time. They had 2 solo home runs tonight. It's just when Aaron went out in that 6th inning, I thought he was throwing the ball exceptionally well. But that 6th inning, the 2 leadoff walks to start off that inning, it looks like he just had emptied the tank in that 5th inning where he struck out the side. The fastball was at 95. He had good ride to it, the breaking ball. I think the swing by Francisco Alvarez in that 5th inning really ticked him off. He kind of swung and his helmet fell off. He fell down. And Aaron never shows any mound. His mound presence is unbelievable. Never shows any emotion. I think that ticked him off. He went out and really emptied the tank in that 5th inning, and then came out in the 6th. He just can't walk, guys.
They are figuring out ways to get those runs in, even after the couple of guys struggled and didn't get their job done. But they had somebody in there, a veteran guy who was looking for a slider. He got it. big base hit, and it really messed him up.
Well, Ruben, where did he go with the base hit?
Right up the middle, baby.
Middle of the diamond.
Middle of the diamond.
The critique, Ricky Bo, on these numbers for Aaron Nola.
I didn't think he threw as poorly as those numbers will say. 1 through 5, I thought he was really good. I just thought he came out in that 6th inning. He just didn't have the sharpness. He didn't have that real good break ball in that 6th inning, and everything after that just kind of fell apart on him.
Yeah,
I mean,
but in baseball, you reach a point where
I know where you're going with this.
What's
He
that?
hit
Where
the
am I
wall.
going?
He hit the wall after the 5th.
Not Noah. You reach a point when it's diminishing returns, when the runs the opposition has scored are going to be usually insurmountable. And when they got those 2 to go up 4-0, I'm thinking the way they're not hitting tonight ain't going to happen.
It was a struggle. I don't think 4 was insurmountable. Not with this. I'm telling you, this Mets bullpen stinks. I've said it a million times. They are not good. You're going to tell me Maton's good? Why is he afraid to throw a fastball? Why is he afraid to locate a fastball? Think about him. He comes in, the first 2 hitters he's facing, curveball with a 6-run lead.
Yeah.
Cry me a river, pal. Throw a fastball.
Michael, we've seen Aaron Nola for a long, long time, and there are times when he does hit that wall. And I thought he threw the ball very, very well through the 5th inning. When he started to struggle through the 6th, I believe, especially when you're in this situation, it's a sort of a must-win game. You got to get guys going because he can lose it pretty quickly. And I was a little surprised that he ended up facing Alonso that last time. I thought that they might get another right-hander up, whether it was Ruiz or Kerkering at that time. I thought they might do it a little earlier. That didn't happen, and he got himself into trouble, and unfortunately, they couldn't work their way out.
Aaron Nola at Citi Field in the clubhouse.
I mean, the pitches to Alonso and Winker.
Yeah, trying to go down and away with the one to Alonso, and then the one to Winker is 2-1, just kind of up middle. But no.
How frustrating is it to, go out there and pitch well, but leave on the short end of it, basically?
Besides the 2 homers and the 2 walks there in the 6th, which kind of hurt me. I mean, other than that, I felt pretty good, but I left the bases loaded with Kerkering coming in. So I mean, it's a tough job to have no outs with the bases loaded against a team like this, how they're playing right now. But he did a good job. He made a pretty good pitch to Marte. He got a base hit and scored 2. But I tried to do the best as I could, try to limit the damage, and we got to come out tomorrow and win a game.
We've kind of seen 2 different versions of Ranger this year, but we've also seen him pitch in some really big games the last 2 years. How do you feel about him coming off from this?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, he's a bulldog and competitor. We know what he's going to be like tomorrow. He's going to go compete and do everything he can to get us a win, and do what he's done all year. He had some up and down games after All-Star break, but he's healthy right now, and he likes pitching in the postseason, and he's going to go out and compete for us.
All right.